More on labour now. In a labour market where employees come and go, one expert says it is important to do exit interviews to understand why your employees are leaving. CEO of Jack Hammer, Debbie Goodman-Bhyat, joins us now in our studios in Cape Town. Exit interviews are very awkward for the person interviewing and the employee about to leave. Why are they so important for the company structure?
So yes, it can be a very awkward situation, but they can be hugely insightful opportunities if they're handled well. And part of that is who's actually conducting the exit interview. Sometimes it's a lowly administrator who's ticking boxes, and often the information is then just shoved into a file, never to be seen by anyone again. But if it's conducted by the right kind of individual who can really gain access to some good information, they can be fantastic opportunities to gain more information about why your employees are leaving and how to attract new ones.
Well, when getting that data and information about why employees are leaving, what does the company do with it? I mean, do you change your own corporate culture or operations? What exactly can you use in that information to make the company better?
So if you're a large organization and then there's a volume of people who just by natural attrition and flow will be leaving your organization at some time or another, it's a fantastic way to gain some information around trends. For example, if you do exit interviews on say 3 or 5 or 10 people and you discover that they're all leaving because they're being offered higher salaries, you might want to review your remuneration policy. Or if 3 people are leaving because of a specific individual, you might want to rethink whether that person should be managing or maybe get them some coaching. Or alternatively, if there's something, if you start hearing information consistently around a toxic corporate culture, well, then you'll delve into that. So this information, if gained accurately, and if then used and shared with the right people who can actually act on that, can be very useful for an organization.
This kind of information also points to how a manager or someone that looks over workers would be treating them as they're doing their work. I mean, can exit interviews lead to investigations into CEOs or managers for that matter?
Look, I think certainly there are times when information comes to light that needs to be taken to a next step regarding additional investigation. Certainly, if somebody conducting the exit interview were to discover that there was misconduct, harassment, impropriety of any nature, then it's something that would need to be taken further and investigated properly, which is difficult to do if somebody's already decided to leave the organization, and then to actually get them to get involved in some kind of process that would enable a fair hearing, so to speak, might be tricky. But nevertheless, if you're hearing this more than once, definitely worth investigating further for sure.
When you have more serious cases like sexual harassment, for instance, I mean, maybe it's something that never came out or any complaints came out at the time, but when someone leaves a company at that point and makes that sort of allegation, how does the company take it up?
Look, once again, I think that allegations of any serious nature, there will always be policies and processes that need to be followed in that instance. And once again, just because somebody alleges, there's always got to be some way of verifying, of ensuring that there's more than one perspective. The reason why an employee could be departing, once again, is not necessarily because they were the top performer of an organization. So once again, it's very difficult to state every single instance in which something like this could transpire, but obviously for a serious allegation, this is certainly something that one would take up and investigate further.
And employees in like smaller industries obviously would worry about burning their bridges in case they would come back to the same employer. So how honest should they be when doing an exit interview?
Yeah, so that's actually a really great point, because if there's nothing really that's sort of burning you, one might want to evaluate whether being completely ruthlessly honest is going to serve you. It's always good to present things in a balanced way. if you're the exeter. And once again, you know, you particularly in small industries, or certainly in a small country like South Africa, where the corporate world is essentially quite small, one encounters other people in the same industry time and time again. So before you go sort of bad-mouthing unnecessarily, or before you go spouting your mouth off, you may want to consider your words before you step into the laundry bin.
Definitely funny territory there. That was CEO of Jack Hammer, Debbie Goodman-Bhyat.